I built my digital marketing agency from nothing but determination and late nights. What began in my college bedroom grew into a thriving business with offices that supported dozens of families. Success changed everything, especially how my mother and her boyfriend viewed me. When my 2-year-old half-brother Tyler arrived, I never imagined he would become the center of demands that threatened to destroy everything I had built. Before we continue, let me know where you are watching from. If stories about standing up for yourself resonate with you, hit that like and subscribe button. Growing up, it was just mom and me in our small apartment after my father walked out when I was 5. Money was always tight, but she worked double shifts at the diner to keep food on the table. I started taking odd jobs at 14, mowing lawns and washing cars to help with bills. During high school, while other kids were at football games, I was teaching myself coding and digital marketing through free online courses at the public library. College was a stretch financially, but I managed to get a partial scholarship. During my sophomore year, I started my marketing business from my dorm room. My first client was a local coffee shop that needed help with social media. I charged them barely enough to cover my ramen noodle budget, but it was a start. I worked on their accounts between classes, often staying up until 3 in the morning to perfect their campaigns. For 4 years, I reinvested every penny back into the business. While my friends were going on spring break trips, I was attending marketing seminars and building my portfolio. The business grew slowly but steadily. One client became 3, then 10. I moved operations from my bedroom to a tiny office space I could barely afford, working 7 days a week to make it succeed. It was at my first official office opening celebration that Mom met Jason. She had been single since Dad left, focusing entirely on raising me. Jason was a pharmaceutical sales rep who came to the event as the plus one of one of my new clients. He was charming and attentive to her in ways I had never seen before. Within weeks, they were dating seriously. Their relationship progressed faster than anyone expected. 6 months after they met, they were married in a small ceremony. I was happy for Mom. After all those years of putting me first, she deserved some happiness. Jason seemed good for her initially. He had a stable job and treated her well. When they announced they were expecting a baby just 3 months after the wedding, Mom was glowing with excitement. Tyler was born the following summer. Having a baby brother at 26 was strange but exciting. I bought him the best crib I could afford and visited whenever I could between growing my business. Mom would bring him to my office occasionally, and I enjoyed showing him off to my small team. That same year, my business hit its first major breakthrough. I landed an account with a regional retail chain that put my agency on the map. Suddenly, I was able to move to a real office downtown and hire 3 full-time employees. My income tripled almost overnight, though. I continued living modestly and investing in growing the company. I noticed subtle changes in Mom and Jason after that. When they visited the new office, Jason asked detailed questions about my client contracts and revenue streams. Mom began mentioning how nice it would be if the business stayed in the family someday. I did not think much of it at the time, assuming they were just proud and interested in my success. During family dinners, Jason would make comments about other successful family businesses he knew. He talked about brothers who ran companies together and how blood was thicker than water when it came to business partnerships. Again, I smiled and nodded, focused on telling Mom about my latest client wins rather than reading between the lines of these conversations. The real turning point came when my agency won a regional industry award for our campaign with the retail client. A business publication ran a feature on me as a rising entrepreneur under 30. Suddenly, my small agency was getting attention, and with that attention came growth. Within 6 months, I had 15 employees and a client waiting list. Mom and Jason started showing up at my office, unannounced, often with Tyler in tow. They would walk around introducing him to my employees as the future boss or the little CEO in training. I laughed it off initially, but my office manager pulled me aside one day with concerns about how these visits were disrupting workflow. Their questions about the business became more pointed. Jason wanted to know exact figures for monthly revenue. Mom asked to see client contracts. They inquired about my business structure and whether I had considered making family part of the ownership. I kept my answers vague, feeling increasingly uncomfortable with their interest. The first truly awkward moment came during a dinner at their house. After putting Tyler to bed, Jason poured us all wine and brought out some paperwork. To my shock, they were business formation documents with blanks for adding Tyler as a 25% owner of my company. We thought it would be smart to put Tyler on the documents now, Jason explained casually as if suggesting we change dinner plans. You know, for tax purposes and to keep things in the family. I tried to explain gently that Tyler was only 2 years old and could not legally be part of a business. Moreover, this was my company that I had built from nothing long before Tyler was even born. Jason frowned, his tone shifting. Blood is blood, Roman. Brothers should share everything. Your mother and I have discussed this, and we think it is important for Tyler's future. Mom nodded in agreement. After all we have done for you, this seems like a small thing to ask. I was confused by what they meant by all we have done. Mom had certainly supported me emotionally through the years, but I had been financially independent since college. Jason had never contributed a dollar to my education or business. I left that night feeling disoriented by their expectations. Things escalated when I discovered they had been telling extended family members that they had helped fund my business startup. At a cousin wedding, my uncle congratulated me on my success, but added, "It is great that your mom and Jason gave you that initial investment. Not everyone gets that kind of help." I was stunned, but chose not to create drama at the wedding. When I asked Mom about it later, she became defensive, saying they had supported me in ways I could not understand. Thanksgiving that year was the breaking point of this phase. During dinner with our extended family, Jason stood up to make a toast. What started as compliments about my business success took a shocking turn, and we are excited to announce that little Tyler will be taking over half of Roman business soon, he said confidently. We are working out the details, but Roman has always understood the importance of keeping success in the family. All eyes turned to me. I nearly choked on my turkey. After an uncomfortable silence, I managed a tight smile and changed the subject, but the damage was done. Family members congratulated them throughout the evening while giving me knowing looks. In the kitchen afterwards, I tried to have a private conversation with Mom. I explained that I had never agreed to any such arrangement and was troubled by these public statements. She became emotional, twisting my words to suggest I did not want to help family and was being selfish. When I mentioned that I had already set up a college fund for Tyler, she dismissed it as not the same thing. Later, I learned they had started using my business connections for their own advantage. A client called asking about the family discount Jason had promised them if they used his pharmaceutical contacts. Another mentioned Mom had implied they were partners in my business while networking at a Chamber of Commerce event. Their emotional manipulation intensified. Mom began bringing up sacrifices she had made when I was young. I worked double shifts while other moms were taking vacations, she would say. I gave up my entire life for you, and now you will not even help secure your brother's future. Jason was more direct with his threats. Family sticks together, Roman. You need to decide what matters more to you, your family, or your precious business. Because from where I stand, you are choosing wrong. Everything came to a head when my business secured a major investment opportunity. A venture capital firm was impressed with our growth and client retention rates. They offered funding that would allow me to double our size and open a second office in another city. It was the opportunity I had been working toward for years. Before I could tell Mom and Jason about this development myself, they saw the announcement on my business social media accounts. I had planned to share the news with them over dinner that weekend, but they showed up at my apartment unannounced on a Tuesday evening. Jason was carrying a leather portfolio. Mom looked simultaneously excited and stern. After brief greetings, they sat down at my kitchen table without waiting for an invitation. "We saw the news about your investment," Jason said, opening his portfolio. "This is perfect timing for what we have been discussing." He pulled out legal documents already prepared with my company name and details. As I scanned the pages, my stomach dropped. They were ownership transfer papers drawn up to sign over 50% of my business to Tyler, with Jason and Mom as his legal guardians and decision makers until he turned 18. "This is not up for discussion," I said, pushing the papers back. "This is my business. I built it before Tyler was even born." "This is about securing your brother," future Mom insisted, her voice hardening. "After everything I did for you, this is how you repay me. By denying your brother's security," Jason leaned forward. "We are not asking Roman. Either you sign these papers willingly, or you are choosing to cut yourself off from this family." I could hardly believe what I was hearing. Are you actually threatening to disown me if I do not give up half my company? We are giving you a chance to do the right thing, Mom said. Real sons share with family. Real sons do not turn their backs on their mothers and little brothers. The ultimatum left me reeling. For a brief moment, I considered whether keeping peace in the family might be worth signing. But then Jason mentioned they had already reached out to several potential clients promising services at my company using their family connection. That night, after they left with their ultimatum hanging in the air, I discovered something that changed everything. An email had been sent to my business account by mistake instead of to Jason's personal address. It contained a thread of conversations between them discussing their long-term plan to gradually take control of my business after getting Tyler on the paperwork. Once we have legal standing, Jason had written, we can start influencing decisions and accessing the accounts. Roman is young. He will move on to something else eventually, and we will be positioned to step in. Reading these words from people I trusted was devastating. Even worse was seeing my mother's responses agreeing with the plan. The final blow came in her last message. He owes us this. I raised him now. It is time he provided for us and Tyler. I had a full-blown panic attack that night. The relationship I thought I had with my mother crumbled before my eyes. All those years I had believed we were a team supporting each other. Now, it seemed she viewed me as an investment that should be paying dividends. They gave me 48 hours to make my decision, threatening to contact my new investors about family disputes if I did not comply. I spent that night in a daze, eventually calling two friends who had known me since college. They came over, immediately listened to the whole story, and helped me think clearly through my options. The next morning, I contacted my business attorney. He confirmed what I already suspected: they had absolutely no legal claim to any part of my business. He also suggested documenting all conversations and threats as protection against potential interference. With my business partner, I took steps to secure company accounts and assets. We updated passwords, reviewed all contract permissions, and alerted key staff to the situation without going into personal details. Instead of meeting at my apartment as they requested, I asked Mom and Jason to meet at a public coffee shop. They arrived looking confident, Jason carrying the same portfolio of documents. I had prepared thoroughly for this conversation. Calmly and without accusation, I laid out the facts of my business journey, the investment of time and resources I had made long before they were in the picture, and the complete absence of any contribution from them to the company. I value family, I told them sincerely, which is why I have already set up a substantial college fund for Tyler. I am also happy to mentor him when he is older, if he shows interest in business. I would even consider creating internship opportunities for him to learn the industry when he is of appropriate age. Their faces darkened as they realized I was not capitulating. Those are not acceptable alternatives, Jason said dismissively. We are talking about his rightful share of the family business. It is not a family business, I replied firmly. It is my business, which I built myself. Mom leaned forward, tears forming. After all I sacrificed for you, this is how you repay me. By denying your brother, I took a deep breath. I love you, Mom, and I love Tyler. But what you are asking for is not reasonable or fair. It has nothing to do with love or family obligation. Their demeanor changed instantly. Jason threatened to tell all my clients about how I abandoned my family. Mom said I would never be welcome in their home again, and that they would make sure Tyler grew up knowing I had chosen money over him. In that moment, something shifted inside me. I realized with perfect clarity that these were not the actions of people who truly cared about my well-being. True family would not threaten and manipulate. True family would not try to take what someone else had built. I understand your position, I said, standing up, and I have made my decision. I will not be signing over any part of my business. I remain committed to being part of Tyler's life and contributing to his future in appropriate ways. The choice to maintain or sever our family relationship is yours to make. Jason stood up, knocking his chair backward. You are no longer welcome in our lives. You are choosing your precious business over your own blood. Mom would not even look at me. If you walk away now without signing these papers, do not ever call yourself my son again. The coffee shop had gone quiet around us. My heart was breaking, but my voice remained steady. I accept those terms. The weeks that followed were some of the most painful of my life. Despite knowing I had made the right decision, the loss of my relationship with Mom left a hole in my heart. I threw myself into work finalizing the investment deal and planning the company expansion. I was surprised when my Aunt Mom's sister reached out to me. We had never been particularly close, but she invited me to lunch. Over sandwiches, she shared her own experiences with Mom and Jason. They tried something similar with me after my divorce settlement, she revealed. Jason had all kinds of ideas about how I should invest the money, with him managing it, of course. When I refused, your mom did not speak to me for 6 months. Her validation helped me realize this pattern predated me. With her encouragement, I started seeing a therapist to process my grief and understand the childhood patterns that had made it so difficult for me to establish boundaries. The business continued to thrive. We opened the second office and expanded our client base nationally. I built a company culture focused on transparency and ethical practices, determined that my personal experience would shape my professional values. 3 months after our confrontation, Mom called. Their tone had changed completely. Jason had lost his pharmaceutical sales job, and they were having financial difficulties. The conversation started with tentative apologies and subtle suggestions that family should help family through tough times. I maintained firm but compassionate boundaries. I offered to help them connect with job placement services and sent gift cards for groceries and Tyler clothes, but made it clear that my business remained off limits for discussion. 6 months into this strained new relationship, I received an unexpected message on social media. My biological father, who I had not seen since childhood, had recognized me in a business publication and reached out. After careful consideration, I agreed to meet him. Over several conversations, I learned his side of our family history. While it did not excuse his absence, it helped me understand the complex dynamics that had shaped my early life. More importantly, it gave me perspective on patterns that had been replicated in my relationship with Mom and Jason. Despite the ongoing tension, I established a trust fund for Tyler education. I made the arrangements through my attorney with clear stipulations that the money could only be used for educational purposes. It was important to me that Tyler not suffer because of adult conflicts. As my business expanded into new markets, I found fulfillment in mentoring young entrepreneurs from backgrounds similar to mine. Teaching others how to build something from nothing helped heal some of the wounds from my family estrangement. Gradually, Mom and Jason began to show a grudging respect for the boundaries I had established. When manipulation did not work, they had no choice but to engage on more authentic terms. Our relationship remained limited, but the hostility diminished. I made a point of maintaining a relationship with Tyler through occasional visits. Initially, these were supervised and awkward, but as he grew older, we developed a genuine bond. By his 5th birthday, I was able to take him for ice cream outings and to the park without the heavy cloud of past conflicts overshadowing our time together. 2 years after the confrontation at the coffee shop, I hosted a holiday gathering at my home. Mom and Jason attended, along with several friends and extended family members. I noticed Jason making subtle comments about my fancy house and how some people had all the luck, but these attempts at provocation no longer affected me. When Tyler ran up to show me his new toy, the genuine affection between us was evident to everyone. In that moment, I caught a glimpse of what a healthier family relationship might look like, one built on mutual respect rather than obligation and manipulation. The business continued to grow beyond anything I had imagined when I started in that college dorm room. We now had offices in 3 cities and a team of talented professionals who shared my vision. The success was sweeter for having protected it from those who would have exploited it. More valuable than the business success was the personal growth. I learned that maintaining boundaries does not mean abandoning love. In fact, standing firm ultimately created the possibility for more authentic relationships with my family. Had I given in to their demands, the pattern of exploitation would have continued indefinitely. The most profound lesson was understanding that my self-worth was not tied to meeting unreasonable demands from others, even family. By refusing to be manipulated, I actually demonstrated a deeper kind of love, one that valued truth and healthy relationships over appeasement. I built a life of integrity while still finding appropriate ways to care for the people connected to me. The relationship with my mother would never be what I had once hoped for, but we found a new equilibrium based on clearer expectations. As for Tyler, I became the kind of brother who could truly support his growth rather than being a resource for our parents to exploit. Our relationship had the chance to develop on its own terms, free from the weight of past conflicts. Setting boundaries, I discovered, was ultimately an act of love for everyone involved, including myself. Have you ever had to make a difficult decision to protect something you built? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more real-life experiences. Your support helps this channel grow. Remember that sometimes the hardest choices lead to the most authentic relationships. Thank you for listening, and I wish you the courage to stand firm in your own life decisions.